into the danger zone.
The Drew Yari Show.
The Drew Yari Show.
Yeah, man, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Stupid idiot.
Drew Yari. The Drew Yari Show begins now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Drew Yari Show.
Welcome to the show, guys. We're already recording. We are about like a half hour in, 22 minutes in. It's a sitcom length. But welcome to the show. I mentioned earlier I forgot to create an event for the show, so a lot of people are probably not getting notified that there's a show going on. But to everyone in the chat, welcome. And it's going to be a simple show tonight. We're going to talk Extreme Rules. It is your fault, Anna. I'm blaming you. I'm not blaming myself because that would be the logical and more adult thing to do, so I'm blaming you. I'm blaming Anna. It's Anna's fault. I'm playing. But we're going to talk about Extreme Rules that happened on Saturday. And I guess, as far as news goes, there's really not too much... there's not really too much news except for 2 deaths. One wrestling related, one that's kind of wrestling related, but not really. I mean, I guess we can get the sad news out of the way if you're game to talk about that.
Yeah. Go and lead it.
So, let's see what we have here. Last Monday, Sarah Lee, who was a Tough Enough winner back in 2015, she unfortunately passed away. She was 30 years old. She was married to oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? Wesley Blake, there you go. They had 3 children, and there really is no... Has anyone heard or has anyone said what the cause of death was?
I'm not sure. I mean, there's speculation out there, but I mean, I don't really think it's really appropriate to really,
Right. I mean,
no.
You're right. Yeah. I have the news up here. I mean, because the last post that she made was 2 days before she passed away, which she put on Instagram, celebrating finally being healthy enough to go to the gym 2 days in a row. First ever sinus infection kicked my butt. And that was the last thing that Sarah Lee ever posted. And her family, of course, put a statement. Lee, who was released by WWE in September 2016 after her 1-year contract expired, went on to wrestle on the independent circuit. She was married in 2017, shared 3 children to Weston, a former WWE wrestler who works on the independent circuit under the name Weston Blake. Lee, who won Season 6 of WWE's Tough Enough reality series. Her mother, Terry Lee, announced in a Facebook post last week no cause of death was given. And, names from Weston and Lee family. On behalf of Weston and the Lee family, we'd like to express our deepest gratitude for the love that has been shown towards Corey, Sarah, and their beautiful children. Corey has taken a step back from social media, but is blown away by the generosity everyone has shown. Even though the darkest times, you guys have been a ray of light. GoFundMe posted that. I saw
it's still up,
right? And I think they showed some transactions. I believe that some WWE personalities actually donated. I think Alexa Bliss donated. Bray Wyatt donated.
I actually have it up here. I can go through some of them here. So first of all, the goal for this GoFundMe was $20,000. That was the goal.
Mm-hmm.
They at this time during this podcast here, it is $102,954.
My goodness.
Over five times the the goal was set, and that is freaking awesome. But just to go over through some of the top donors here. It looks like Drew McIntyre, and they're using their real names, by the way. So if I if I watch it, I mean that's my bad here. So, but I see Drew McIntyre here. I see Mojo Rawley here. Austin Jenkins, that's a familiar name.
Adam Cole. That's Adam Cole.
Okay, that is Adam Cole. I forgot he had a black last name. Forgot he had a black last name. Looks like Adam Pearce has donated $1,000. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, $1,000 here. I said Drew McIntyre here. Chris Jericho, $2,500. Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, $5,000 here, and the top donator is Tony Khan, $10,000. So, that like at the end of the day, you could be and just going through some other names here. Cody Rhodes, $1,000. Becky Lynch, $1,000. Alexa Bliss, $1,000. Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona, $750. Billy Kay, $500. So again, the you can like who you like in wrestling, right? You know what I mean? Like you can like AEW, you can like WWE, you can like Impact or whoever you want to like. But at the end of the day, wrestling is an eternity, and that's being shown here.
Right.
That that at the end of the day, we're all one big family. There may be some people in the family we don't like, but at the end of the day, it's still family, right? So, and the fact that they came out like people like Tony Khan didn't have to donate $10,000, or people who never had that interaction with Sarah Lee, because Sarah, she was WWE, she was WWE, but at the same time she wasn't, because she never really actually got on TV or anything like that. But at the end of the day, she was part of the family. She was part of the fraternity. She wasn't tough enough, right? So even though that she never became a big star in wrestling in WWE, it shows that at the end of the day, at least with this current iteration, your family, to the WWE, your family in wrestling. So I got to donate $10,000. He didn't have to do any of that, but he did though, because wrestling is a fraternity. But the people who I'm for sure who's deeply hurt by this is Chelsea Green, is Mandy Rose, is Sonya Deville, because they were all in that same season with Sarah Lee, the woman that they lost to on Tough Enough. So I know that they have to feel some type of way about that, because I over the past few days I've seen pictures with them, and and all that stuff, reminiscing as well. So prayers out to the family and friends of Sarah Lee for this Memorial Fund. And the funny thing is that Wesley Blake, he wrestles here. He's from San Antonio, Texas, so he's local. So I saw him maybe a couple months ago at an indie event here. So he's very still very active. Still very active is Weston Blake. I call him Weston Blake, Wesley Blake, whatever you want to call him. But just to know that that someone that you've seen here, his wife, pass away. That has to take some. It has to be daunting for him. So hopefully he recovers. Right. I know there's something that he's not going to be able to recover overnight. Something he's not going to recover over years. Probably going to take years to recover. But hopefully he's able to get back in a happy place and get back out wrestling. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure that's what Sarah will probably want from him at the end of the day.
You had mentioned, in wrestling, it's like a fraternity. It's pretty much a fraternity.
It is, yeah.
When something happens to one person, everybody jumps in to help. Whether it's I'm thinking of a story with Perry Saturn where he needed to go. He put up a GoFundMe because he was homeless, and Chris Jericho. I mean, we rag on Chris Jericho, and sometimes deservedly so. But Chris Jericho, likes to go out of his way to help anyone in the wrestling business that's, going on hard times. And he went out of his way to help Perry Saturn because I'm pretty sure that's a friend. I'm pretty sure he's a friend. And so to hear, this with Sarah Lee, where all those names you mentioned are people that I'm pretty sure I've never even met her. And again, I'm not trying to sound like a dick. I'm just, most of those people probably didn't even know who she was, but they helped anyway because, a lot of those people have families. A lot of those people have wives and, daughters and sons. And so when they hear this, and maybe it's a thing of, they all know Wesley and they like Wesley. And again, like you mentioned, we're talking about Mandy, Mandy, Sonia, and I forgot who else. Chelsea Green. We're all in the same season of Tough Enough with her. And another thing, not for nothing, is it seemed like she was very well liked, by a lot of people because she didn't even step foot in the WWE. Like she won Tough Enough, and then she left a year later. Because you see a lot of people taking photos with her, people that are like, man, this girl was really liked. Like she seemed like somebody that was very likable. And I'm just now remembering all this. Like, I think I followed her on Facebook. I think I was friends with her on Facebook, and I just knew her that she was a wrestler and that she was working for the WWE. So I mean, I didn't really talk to her, but she seemed like a nice girl. So just it's sad because she was so young. She was 30 and she had kids. That's always going to be sad, when a child loses their mother, or parent of any kind. So condolences to the families of Weston Blank and Sarah Lee. And last bit of sad news, since we were talking about Mandy Rose. On the same date, unfortunately, Mandy Rose lost her brother. His name was Richie. She was pulled from NXT, and just recently they put Sonya Deville in that spot. Her brother Richie passed away. No word on what happened. She posted a thing on social media. I just want to thank everyone who paid their respects for my brother. Last few days weren't easy, but we're so thankful for all our family and friends who supported us in this tragic time, celebrated Richie's life. I know Richie would even be surprised to see how many people cared about him and loved him. Still feels like a bad dream. R.I.P. Richie, we love you. And this just comes weeks after Mandy Rose announced her engagement to former NXT star Tino Sabatelli. Again, just sucks. Losing. We're just talking about Sarah Lee. Their children aren't gonna have a mother, and Mandy Rose lost her brother. And from what I heard, what I've seen, Mandy Rose is very family oriented. Like she grew up in a family full of brothers, and she'd always talked about being very close. I mean, she's Italian, I believe, and Italians and they have big families, and she was very close to their brothers. So, again, condolences to Mandy Rose's family during this tough time.
Yeah, 100%. Sad, very sad, man. She was at the highest of highs, getting engaged, a few weeks ago, and now she's, only pretty low right now. So hopefully, and the great thing about this too is that if this was the other administration, she will probably be back on TV next week. So, I'm pretty sure that now, obviously, I know she has an obligation, because she's the NXT Women's Champion, and she's gonna have a match at Halloween Havoc. But I won't be surprised that Triple H may give her another week off. But yeah, it's just Very unfortunate. Very, very sad. Very, very sad for Manny Rose. So, yeah, prayers to her family and during this tough time.
All right, now we got the sad news out of the way. Let's get to Extreme Rules.
Yes!
Extreme Rules. It was this past Saturday. Like I mentioned, I missed it live, so I had to catch the replay the very next day. It was in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center, and there were 6 matches. So let's start off with the first. There was no pre-show play, which was interesting. So 6 matches. First match on the show, you had the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium in a 6-man good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. What were your thoughts on the match?
Very fun opener. Very fun opener. I mean, it's, what you expect. It's a freaking, basically a hardcore match. Very good match. Very, very nice to start off. Bit of your overall, and there were some near falls in here. That was like, oh man, okay, I thought Imperium was gonna get it, and I did pick the Imperium to win the match. I was wrong, but like I said last week, it could go either way, obviously. But I just thought that H was gonna have Imperium get the win there. But I thought it was a very fun match overall. Very, very fun match.
I agree with that. To me, it was a match of the night. I picked the Brutes to win because they needed the win, because Sheamus lost to Gunther twice, and also he lost them the night before, and Imperium screwed the Brawling Brutes out of the tag titles twice, so they needed the win. And you knew Gunther wasn't going to take the pin; it was going to be one of his lackeys, and it ended up being Vinci, I believe. And this was just a fun match from the get-go, because this match did something that I was so happy it did, which is it solidified both teams as being tough guys, and not just like there's like the leaders are tough guys and the other guys are bitches. No, like everybody in this match was tough. Like there was that bit where like Butch is surrounded by all members of Imperium, and he just does the whole shrugging thing, and goes, "Fuck it, I'll take you all on." Which I thought was pretty cool, and I like Butch better. I like Butch better than Pete Dunne, and I think I've already said that. And then there was one bit I thought was pretty cool, where like Sheamus is like under all this wreckage, like barrels and stuff, and he gets up, and you just see Gunther in the ring, just looking at him, go, "Come on, bitch!" Like he didn't do the traditional heel thing of like "Hey, come here," and then run away. Like no, he's just like, "Come on, bitch, let's go." Let's go. Come on. So, probably the funniest bit in the match, because like my fiance was watching it with me, was like Sheamus is doing the like the chess hit or whatever you want to call it, and he's doing it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the rest of Imperium comes up to fucking Gunther and just goes like just starts hitting him at the same time. I thought that was funny. I like that. And then, Sheamus gave a razor's edge to Gunther to the fucking table, which I just went, oh, shit. That was pretty fucking impressive. And then you already knew what was going to happen. That was a way to get Gunther out of the ring so that way he wouldn't take the pin. Right. The Brutes got the win. And, again, to me, match of the night, I think it's a match of the year candidate. I wouldn't say it's my choice for match of the year so far, but it's a match of the year candidate. It was just fun, and the crowd fucking loved it. And my only knock on the match is that it went on first. Because go ahead.
What would you put on for first then, if not that match?
Well, I guess I say that because the rest of the card is like very bumpy. Whereas like you look at how good this match was and how fun it was, where it's like, yeah, I think just look at how much the crowd loved it and how good the match was. It probably should have been the main event. I mean, just like not saying because it's like bigger than the other programs. It's more just like it's like when you watch any pay-per-view where you're like, this match was the main event, but it probably shouldn't have been the main event because it was kind of bad, but it had to be the main event because it had more of a high-profile story. I don't know. It's kind of like a I guess I'm kind of being a mark, like where it's just like, it probably should have been the main event, if based on how good the match was. But next is Extreme Rules match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey against the Women's Champion Liv Morgan.
That was a rough match to get to sit through. After the Donnybrook match, this was a rough match. I'm glad that they took the title off of Liv Morgan. It's just not working. It's just not working for her as Women's Champion. I like Liv Morgan. I think she's great. But it's time for a change with her. The one thing I did like the ending. I did like the way that the match ended. Liv didn't fully tap out. She kind of just smiled in pain and just passed out. And okay, cool. But it was kind of sloppy. I wasn't really feeling this match. Also, they worked hard in this match. They worked hard, but I just overall just wasn't really feeling it as far as what they were doing. So, but at the end of the day, right decision, having Ronda win. And, and as I mentioned, they gotta have Ronda be champion. She has a 1-year contract. And, it's possibly going to be Ronda versus Becky at Mania. You gotta at least get Ronda, title reign to solidify a challenge for Becky. So, So we'll see how it goes. But, now I'm just kind of interested in what I'm going to put Ronda with. Most likely we may get Ronda and Shayna Baszler, right? But the SmackDown Women's division is really in shambles per se, as far as the roster itself. It's not good. The women's roster for SmackDown is not good whatsoever. I mean, some of the women there. Okay, so you got on SmackDown, BFAB, not wrestling, Charlotte Flair. I don't know when she's coming back. Maybe before Survivor Series, right? You got Lacey Evans. Don't want to see that. Liv Morgan. She's gonna get a rematch. She's gonna get a rematch, of course, and lose. Maxine Dupree, not a wrestler. Natalya. Don't want to see it.
Shotzi.
Scarlett, not a wrestler. Shotzi, possibly, yes, I would like to see that. But again, she's not gonna beat Ronda, right? Sonya Deville, I don't want to see that.
Raquel,
I mean, yeah, Raquel could be one. So it's still gonna be shitty, but Xia Li, don't want to see it. Zelina Vega, she's not gonna be wrestling. She's just gonna be managing. Legato,
which is what she should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So then you have the racist that's injured. Thank God. This division really needs some help. So the draft can't come soon enough. At this point, it may be looking towards WrestleMania, after WrestleMania for that. But they definitely need some help with this roster.
I actually fell asleep during this match. Blame
you.
Well, here's what happened. So, like I mentioned, earlier last week, I went to a wedding, and we went to an after party at her brother's house, because it was his wedding, I was a groomsman. So we went to his house, and I was already kind of tired, but then I installed Peacock on my phone and just decided to watch, I guess, as much as I could on my phone, and then just wait for the next day. And there was Menudo. Have you ever had Menudo before?
Once or twice. Not really a huge fan of it.
I love Menudo. So, I was eating Menudo while I was watching Extreme Rules, and I got through the first match. First match was great. This match was not so great. The opposite. And then Menudo started kicking in. And I fell asleep on the lazy boy that's in their room, or in their living room, and I just wake up and I see Ronda Rousey the champion. I'm like, all right, so what did I miss? So I had to go back and rewatch it, and I saw the spot everyone was talking about where Ronda made Liv tap out, and Liv was had that kind of weird smile on her face. So we're obviously getting a rematch, which whenever that is, I'm assuming I'm gonna just go out and say it. Maybe Crown Jewel. Maybe that's when the rematch takes place. I'm just assuming it's at Crown Jewel, but yeah, this match is not very good. Liv, I think, need to lose the title. I know I picked Liv, but I picked Liv based on a company thing, because it seemed like the company liked Liv, and they wanted to push her as, I guess, their next Trish or whatever it is they see in Liv, because Liv has her following, she has her fans, she sells merch. You see the kids, you see the little girls in the audience that have like the little bedazzled, tears coming down their face. So I was just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if she won. And also, this is an Extreme Rules match, so maybe she wins in some convoluted way. Maybe somebody comes out and screws Ronda. Oh no, they gave Ronda the title back. Okay, makes sense. I'm fine with it. But yeah, Liv needed to lose that title because she just wasn't very good. Like, it's weird because I've always complimented Liv. I've always said Liv she's actually shown a lot of improvement in the ring. Like, her on the mic is a different story. Like, she really can't cut a promo. Like, I hear her talk, and it sounds like I'm watching a CW TV show. Like, she has CW level acting, and not wrestling acting. Not even to say that that Ronda is any better, because Ronda, her problem is she talks like she's talking to a room of 20 people, rather than talking to a room of 200 people. So Ronda needs to improve, and so far it's not working. So at the end of the day, Ronda's a star, and she draws ratings. So Ronda, putting the title back on Ronda was a better decision. And like you, going back to something you mentioned, it looks like they want Ronda and Becky at Mania, to go along with Charlotte and Bianca at Mania. So we're gonna get two big women's matches at Mania. So, and also, not for nothing, I honestly think they should just make one women's title, like just merge both women's titles and just have one women's champion, because like for the men. Like I was all for having just one world champion, but now looking at how it's working out so far, I'm like, maybe they should just go back to having two world titles. Whereas the women, it's like there's a lot of good women in the company, but then there's not a lot of good women in the company. So for like you said, for SmackDown, their women's champion, their women's division is just not very good. It's cacas. Whereas Raw's,
I think Triple H has a solution, a temporary solution for SmackDown,
which is
Mia Yim. Her contract's up with Impact. So you're coming back to WWE, and if she doesn't, she's definitely gonna go to AEW because that's where Keith Lee's at. Also, as well, in the news, Chelsea Green's in the news as well. To come on in. Mia Yim's, I think she's a pretty good wrestler. Chelsea Green, she has potential. She has good character work if you allow her to be the character, but her in ring is better. I will say she'll probably be one of the top 3 wrestlers on SmackDown. But if she was on Raw, she'd probably be top 6 or 7 because Raw's roster is fucking loaded. So.
Yeah, I think SmackDown definitely needs the help with the women. Chelsea, I'll be honest, I haven't seen enough of her, so I can't really judge too much of her work. I mean, the one thing I've always heard about Chelsea is that, oh, she's really good. She was really good in this company. I'm like, well, I need to see her now. I need to see what she does now. My AM I've always been high on. I always thought...
The only thing about Chelsea is she's a little injury prone. She's a little injury prone. So that's the only thing I'm a little worried about, because she just came off of injury not too long ago in the Indies, and she got injured twice in WWE. So there's that.
And my AM I've always been high on. I always thought that she definitely has the charisma she can talk, she can work. So I'd be interested to see what she can do. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes to AEW because Keith Lee's there. I mean, because the news came out that Renee Young is signing with AEW.
She was on AEW tonight too. She she had a couple segments already. Good for her.
How does she come off as in the segments?
Like fucking Renee Paquette. I mean,
okay.
And that's a good thing because I loved her in WWE, man. Like, God, I loved her so much in WWE. I still love her, but I'm saying
her.
Like if I don't love her anymore. But yeah, she's awesome.
And then her husband John Moxley just signed a 5-year extension, which means he'll only work exclusively with AEW affiliates that are NJPW. He'll also be taking on a mentoring and coaching role. So
not to get off track, but
right, we'll get back on track, but
yeah, not to get off track, but you mentioned in New Japan, Dallas Anderson came back to Raw not last night, but on Monday.
We'll get to that. We'll get to Raw after the review.
Okay.
But yeah, Moxley signed a 5-year extension, so. I'm not the biggest Moxley fan. I already made that very clear, but good for him because it obviously seems like something that he wanted and that the fans wanted. So good for Moxley getting that money, and good for Renee, being with her man. Because again, I like Renee too. I never had a bad. Well, her commentary time, that was probably the only bad thing I had to say, but I don't think that was really her fault. I just think it was just when you have Vince McMahon.
It was in a bad position.
I mean, she admits it was bad. Because before, you would see her on Talking Smack and other shit, and she's like, this girl is really fucking good. She seems like she wants to be there, and it's not like a Michael Cole thing of I'm here. I used to cover the war. It's like Renee legit likes wrestling, and she had offers from ESPN, but she stayed in WWE, and she admitted, it was bad because I had Vince yelling in my ear, telling me what to say. So, what's her role in AEW? Did she ever mention?
No, she's an interviewer. She's a backstage interviewer.
All right, cool. But again, good for Renee. Good for them. Let's get back on track with this show. Next, you had Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre in a strap match.
I like this match. I know some people who didn't like this match. There's a lot of people who didn't like this match, but. I think a lot of people soured on the ending itself, but not to say that this match was 4 stars or 5 stars or whatnot. But it got to the point across of Karrion Kross's character, and Drew McIntyre. He had a good effort in this match here as well. So having Karrion win was the right decision because you're not going to bring this guy back for him to lose his very first pay-per-view match. It wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. Now with Scarlett coming in at the very end helping Karrion, I could have done without because I won't say it makes I don't want to say it makes Kross looks weak. What it does is I don't want that to be a crutch for Karrion Kross because that became I won't say an issue with Andrade, Zelina Vega in NXT because when Zelina she was always interfering in the championship matches, and that's how Andrade wins. I don't want that to be the same thing for Karrion Kross. Again, where I don't hate it, I understand it. At the same time, I just don't want that to be the main reason why he's winning these big matches on pay-per-view.
I agree. I mean, I know Goof is saying it made him look like a bitch. I'm not gonna say he looks like a bitch, but Justin said, I hope this doesn't become a crutch because. A guy like Kross who how tall is Kross? 6'4", 6'5"? And Drew's maybe him and Drew are roughly around the same height and size. I think Drew's a little bit bigger, but a guy like Kross should not need to rely on his woman to help him win everything. This should be a thing that happens every now and then. It's it's like King Booker. I know that's kind of a odd example, but King Booker had Charmel, and he used her sparingly. You know, he had the match against Batista at SummerSlam that year, and you know Batista was about to win, and then Sharmell comes in and just attacks, you know, Batista, and then calls for a disqualification. That's an example. But like with Cross, it's just like, I know this is Extreme Rules and anything goes. But yeah, let me just start off by what I thought about the match before I get to the ending. So there was something very off about this match. Like, this match was not as good as I wanted it to be, and I think there's like multiple reasons why, and I'll explain why. So number one, they just came off a very bad match with Liv Morgan, a very boring match that it seemed like it sucked the energy out of the crowd. So I think that's something that played into effect. Another thing, I think it's the style of match, because I've never been a fan of strap matches, because to me there's only so much you can do in that match. Like, you can't really run around the ring too much. You can't really use anything else but the strap. You can't do too much offense. You can't do too much like mat wrestling. You just have to use the strap. And I think for a crowd like Philly, that, you know, those are ravenous, you know, Philly fans that, you know, watch DCW, they wanted to see more carnage with these two Hosses, and we just saw two Hosses, you know, just beat the fuck out of each other earlier. So I think it should have been a different match, in my opinion. Like, because I think I pitched a while ago where I said I thought it should have been a steel cage match, and because it would have fit better with the storyline of like Cross keeps running away from Drew, and Drew finally got Cross, but then they gave the steel cage match to, you know, Seth and Riddle. So it's like, okay, how about a last man standing match? But then they gave an I Quit match to Edge and Finn, which is kind of similar in a way, whereas, you know, I Quit is like, you know, have to beat your opponent so bad that he says I quit, and last man standing, you have to beat your opponent so much that he ends up quitting by just not getting up at the count of 10. So it's just like, well, what else can we give him? Yeah, strap match. It's like, okay, let's see how this works out. And it didn't work the way it should have. Another thing about Cross, I like Cross. I mean, I made it very clear I'm a Cross guy. Probably one of the members of the Cross fan club. I'm glad he's back. I love Cross. They obviously love Cross up there because they're pushing him to the moon. Just a few maybe small criticisms about Cross. Number one, he needs to shave his head. Like,
I don't agree with that.
Well, I mean,
I think he looks better. To me, in my opinion, I think he looks better the way he is.
I think he's too much of a pretty boy. Like, and he was already a good-looking guy even when he was bald, but he looked more sinister as a bald guy. Whereas him with the hair, like, there were points in the match, like, because he came out with the slick back hair, and there were points in the match where his hair kept like sticking up, to me it got kind of distracting a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. So I think he needs to go back to being bald again. Is it as
distracting as Kane's hair in 2001 in the 2001 Royal Rumble?
Oh boy, that's another story. But with
hair was terrible.
Terrible. With Cross, yeah, I think he needs to go back to the shaved head. Just my opinion. Two, to me, I think Cross is missing something, and I don't know what it is. I can't really tell what it is, but there's something about him, and it's just like he has everything. He has the presentation, he has the big entrance, he has the hot girlfriend. He's not bad in the ring. He's passable. I mean, because a guy like Cross doesn't need to be doing tope suicidas and Canadian destroyers. He just needs to be an ass kicker. And he's got the ass kicking part down. He's fine. But like, there's something about him that's missing, and I don't know what it is. And I think it also, help. Well, I'm not gonna say helps, but like, another thing that comes into effect is that he hasn't been doing this very long. Like, I don't even think he's been wrestling for a decade. Like, maybe like 6 or 7 years. So I think there's still part of him that's learning. Whereas a guy like Drew's been wrestling for like almost 2 decades. Sheamus has been wrestling for, quite a while. And Cross is still fairly new. Not new, but fairly new. So, I don't know, there's something about Cross that's missing. I can't really tell what it is. And just overall, this match, it just wasn't as good as it could have been, because going back to the aspect of the match is just like there's only so much you can do in a strap match, and I think eventually the fans are going to get bored when you're just like all you're doing is just smacking each other with a belt, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's just my opinion. And then the ending, I was like, I guess like that was my reaction. I'm like, I guess that was the ending, but they could have come up with something a lot more clever. Because again, like this kind of makes Cross look bad in a way where it's just like I need to rely on my woman to help me win my battles. Like I'm not saying Cross should decisively beat Drew, because they still like Drew and they still consider Drew a top guy. But it's Extreme Rules. You could have won in some fucked up way. You could have done something to where like you choke him out with the fucking strap. Or I don't know, do something like that doesn't involve, Scarlett needing to help Cross out all the time. But yeah, this match wasn't as good as it could have been. That's just how I view it. Any thoughts? Closing arguments?
Nope. We can move on.
Let's see. Goof is saying Cross has been wrestling since 9822, so he just had his 8-year anniversary a couple months ago. 9822? So you literally start wrestling like last month? Or do you mean... Okay, I know what you mean. I'm just fucking with you, Goof. So he started wrestling in 2014. Okay.
2014, yeah.
Next match, Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. Raw Women's Championship.
Very fun match. Took some risk in this match here. Again, I did predict, Bianca to win this match, and she did. Just because of the fact that now it seems like they're going to continue this feud here. Right? I know we're going to talk about Raw in a little bit here, but nice spots in this match. Damage Control came out. You ended up having Bianca doing a double KLD to Io and Dakota, so that was pretty cool. And you have Bianca doing the KLD to Bayley with half of a ladder, so that was pretty cool as well. So, but to me, if anything that I can say negative about this match, not about the match itself, but just about the fallout, this kind of makes Damage Control look a little weak. At the end of this, but they did get their heat back on Raw. Again, I'm not really too sure on what Triple H is doing. I know what they're doing with Damage Control. I know what he's trying to do, but I don't know what he's doing with them. I like the match. Very, very good match. If I had to rank it as far as in terms of matches of the night, I'll put it at I'll say it's probably the second best match of the night, in my opinion, behind the next match we're about to talk about. Yeah. I mean, these ladies worked hard and pulled off a very good match.
I agree with everything you said. I like this match. It was fun. It was a fun match. It was a good match, a good ladder match. Bayley was taking some pretty sick bumps, like to the point where I'm like, shit, she must be hurt. Like, the last bit in the match where Bianca does a KOD while Bayley is holding a ladder, which I'm like, where are they going with this? Like, is Bayley gonna like hit her with the ladder, or what is she gonna do? Like, no, she literally was just holding the ladder just so she can fall and like hit herself in the face with the ladder, which I'm just like, fuck. I hope Bayley's okay, it looks like she is, but Bianca, again, this goes without saying, Bianca is just really goddamn good. Like, for someone who was never in the indies, who literally got her training at the Performance Center, I mean, it helps that she's a natural athlete. But, there's been a lot of natural athletes that have come through wrestling. And there's a difference between being like really good athletically and just being really good wrestling wise. Like, you have to understand it, you have to get it. And Bianca gets it. Like, I don't know how you're going to feel about this statement. I think Bianca's kind of like Kurt Angle. Like, she's someone that just seems like she has naturally gifted charisma. And it also helps that she's really fucking athletic and really good. and she's like, again, extremely fucking strong. Like there was that segment from a few years ago where she fucking lifted Otis over her back like he was nothing, and she has to like walk and get to like, you know, the next space or whatever. So she's a beast when it comes. She's a beast in strength, and you know they obviously are putting the gas behind her. They want her to be like the face of the company. They want her to be their next John Cena, as far as like, you know, John Cena of the women's division. So I love Bianca. To me, she, of all, not even just the women, of all the wrestlers in the company, and also maybe the rest of in the entire wrestling business itself, I think she's the best finisher. Like in every match I see her in, she always finishes her matches like so fucking great. Like out of any wrestler
I can definitely see that, because she can do it, you know, on the outside. She can do it from the apron to the floor if she really wanted to. She can do it. She's done from the top rope. Like, so her finisher's definitely up there for sure.
And she's probably never going to be a heel for a while, or maybe not even ever. But it seems like they're giving her more of an edge as a character. Like they're taking aspects of her heel persona in NXT and adding it to her face persona, which is good, because her being the happy-go-lucky babyface, you know, was getting boring. But then she started acting more heelish, but still being a face. Like it's, you know, basically like every other babyface. You know, Austin was a heel and then he became a face, but he was still acting like a heel. The Rock was a heel, but then he became a face, but he was still acting like a heel. Like, you know, give the baby faces more of an edge. That's how you save them. And so far it's working out for Bianca. And then, of course, Bayley. I love Bayley. You know, I'm biased because I love Bayley. I think she's, you know, one of the, if not the best, you know, worker in the women's division today. So these two gelled well. This is a really good ladder match. This is a really good match between these two. And like you mentioned, it seems like this feud's not going to end. It might go on for maybe the next pay-per-view, and from what it looks like, we're probably getting it at Survivor Series and War Games. So, there you go. Second best match of the night, in my opinion. Let's see.
Match of the night?
Next is Finn Balor versus Edge in an I Quit match. This match was 29 minutes and 55 seconds. Edge is one of Edge's many long matches. But yeah, I Quit match.
This is the match of the night for me. Start off slow. I mean, it's a 30-minute match. Like, you know, the match is going to start slow pretty first. But God, man, the last 10 minutes of this thing was fucking outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
The storytelling of this match was outstanding. And I'm just gonna ask the chat here, ask you, Drew, who called the ending of this match?
I believe we did.
That's right. He called the ending of this match. Now, I was wrong about about maybe they'll put a steel chair around her leg, around her neck. No, they just did a concerto at the end. But great, fantastic storytelling in this match. This makes a Judgment Day a straight up, do dirty heel stable here. One of the, I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as match of the year. One of the matches of the year. If you put in your top 10, I'll be like, okay, I can see where you're coming from, right? But just great work from Edge and Finn Balor in this match. When Rey Mysterio came out and Judgment Day came out, and eventually Beth Phoenix coming out, and Finn Balor just doing like 3 coup de grace from the top rope, holding Edge, and Edge seeing like, oh, Beth, and like just really turned up on the heartstrings, and Edge says, I quit. He just says it like hesitantly. He doesn't want to say it, but he needed to say it to save his wife, so he thought. Then Rhea Ripley, before all that, knocked out Beth with a brass knucks, and eventually getting a chair to get her in a control position. And even though that she said or that Edge said I quit didn't matter. It did not matter to Rhea Ripley. She was gonna do that concerto, and that was a vicious concerto. I'll be honest with you. That's probably one of the top 3 vicious concertos I've ever seen. You know, I don't know if you remember the one with Edge and Ric Flair. When Ric Flair, that one there was pretty fucking sick. But
I don't mean to cut you off. I remember, I was watching the the Edge and Ric Flair TLC match on Raw, and my dad was actually watching with me. My dad doesn't like wrestling, but every now and then he'll humor me and watch it. And he was watching that match with me, and they showed the clip of the week prior where they showed Edge doing the concerto to Rick. And my dad sees that and goes, "Ugh! Oh my god!"
yeah.
So I just thought it was funny. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this devastating. That was devastating concerto, but yeah. So yeah, the one you did to Ric Flair was pretty nasty, but fantastic storytelling. Now this is, eventually this is going to lead to a Beth and Edge versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Maybe we'll get it at Crown Jewel, right? That'll be my opinion, to get at Crown Jewel. Then you'll get. Now I think this may lead to a Survivor Series match. At Survivor Series, because I could definitely see it be Ray, Edge, I'm forgetting people. I'm I had the people in my head, but now I'm totally forgetting. But I could definitely see this be a Survivor Series match for sure. Just by the way how things is hashing out here. But to me, match of the night, fantastic storytelling. This is imagine pretty much this story here was handed off to Triple H. This wasn't a Triple H storyline with Edge versus, Judgment Day. Edge was already going out of Judgment Day when Vince was still around. So the fact that Triple H took this storyline, which was kind of meh, to one of the hottest storylines, not just in WWE, but in wrestling right now, shows on if he, let's say, if Triple H actually thought of this storyline from the very beginning, on how much better it will be. But great match, fantastic match between Edge and Finn Balor.
I agree. I enjoyed the match thoroughly, and like you said, the last 10 minutes, good shit. The majority of the match, they were just beating the shit out of each other, and fighting around the ring. And then just Edge just trying to choke out Finn. Finn
going into the crowd and freaking, doing all the spots in the crowd. So good shit.
Only nitpick, and I have to nitpick. I thought they should have came out in street clothes and not traditional wrestling gear, but that's just me. But it didn't ruin the match for me. But I enjoyed the match. I like I quit matches. I like last man standing matches because it's just two guys beating the fuck out of each other. And we get to the last 10 minutes, where Judgment Day comes out and they gang up on Edge, and then they handcuff him, and they just start beating the fuck out of him. And Michael Cole, Jesus Christ,
yes,
Michael Cole is doing, to me, the best work of his career since Vince.
Absolutely, forgot to mention that. Fantastic commentary from Michael Cole, man.
He was making me laugh. He was making me laugh at some points, like the bit where Dominic just hits Ray, and you just hear Michael Cole, "What the hell are you doing, kid?" He's just doing stuff like that. And with Edge,
I think there was a son of a bitch in there too, which is always great.
And then the whole bit with Edge, where Dominic is no, he's pretty much being a pussy. He's like, "Come on, man." It's like, "I'm not even with them. I don't even like these guys." And he shakes Edge's hand. Edge kicks him in the balls. And you just hear Michael Cole, "That's what you get, you little brat." I was like, "Yes, Michael, call him a brat. Say what you feel." And then Beth comes in, and I like the bit where Dominic is standing on the apron, and Beth has a weapon, and Dominic's just like, "No." like he's doing that. Just Beth protecting her man, and then of course Edge. And I had a feeling it was going to happen. I'm like, all right, something has to happen. Beth is in the ring. And then, Rhea hits Beth on the side of the head with brass knucks. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie, I was happy. Like, I was happy when that happened because, again, it's just like, we called that. Like, Beth was going to be involved somehow. Because Edge said, there's nothing you can physically do to me to make me say I quit. And we all called it. Actually, I'm going to give credit to you because you called it first before we did. So I'm going to give credit to Justin here because he called it first. The WWE kind of went a different direction, but it was still, the idea was Beth was going to get involved and she was going to play. Shut up, Anna. It was our idea. Shut up. That, Beth was going to get involved somehow. And she did. She took a pretty gnarly concerto. And that's just good fucking storytelling. And again, it solidifies Judgment Day as this really just evil, just awful, just fucking awful human beings. What they just did to fucking Edge and his wife. So, and then this correlates into Monday, which we'll get to Monday. Now we're at the main event. Main event is Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins in a fight pit match. Daniel Cormier served as a special guest referee.
This match, I mean, I'm not saying that I hated this match, but I expected more from this match. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think it served its purpose in the main event. I mean, it could have been a little bit more intense per se. I felt that it lacked a little bit of intensity. Now, I felt the intensity more at their Clash of the Castle match more than this match. It was a good match. It was good, but for what the story that was being told going into this event, it could have been a lot more than what it actually was. So, Riddle gets the win, as expected. Cormier didn't really play a role in this match at all. I mean, kind of at the beginning where he kind of established his dominance per se, right? But I thought, this is what I thought. I thought Riddle was gonna win, which he did, right? And I know we're gonna talk about Raw, but I gotta mention this now. I thought that Brock Lesnar was gonna come out at the end of this event and challenge Cormier for Crown Jewel. It didn't happen. So but Brock came back on Monday. So that probably made me think that WWE probably had this in position for a match at Crown Jewel, and something may have fell through because it was most likely like, hey, Brock's gonna win, and Cormier's like, no, I'm not gonna, debut and lose. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know. That's just why I'm thinking.
Well,
but go ahead.
I was gonna say I heard a rumor that Brock apparently kiboshed the thing. That he...
no, yeah, and that's another thing I was about to bring up too. It could be that Brock, probably didn't want to, have an interaction, or probably didn't want to have a program with Cormier. So I don't know. We'll probably get more news about it, right? So Dave Meltzer's and your Sean Ross Saps, you got your people out there that may get some information about that. Maybe Ariel Helwani, that'd probably be better because within MMA. But the match overall, good main event. Could have been better. I think they should have been on top of the structure a little bit more. Right, they were up there for barely any time. 6 senton off the top from Riddle to Rollins, and that legitimately hurt Rollins for sure. Mm-hmm. You can tell that Riddle slipped off. He slipped off more than jumped off because he didn't get no air underneath it. He just came falling down like a ton of bricks and definitely landed on top of Rollins' ribs there. So good match. I want to see it again. I definitely want to see it again, but I want to see it again with a little bit more intensity. in the match. I still think the best fight pit match is the very first one with Riddle and Timothy Thatcher. That was a damn good match. Damn good match. That happened on NXT a couple years ago.
Couple things about the match. I thought the match was okay. But again, going back to their match they had at the Clash, this is supposed to be a blood feud, and they're like, giving polite love taps. Well, maybe not polite love taps, but like I expected, because it's in a fight pit, that they just beat the living piss out of each other. And also Cormier, I never watched this stuff, and again, I'm pretty sure he can beat the fuck out of all of us, but he was not a very good choice for this, as this referee. Like to me, it's just like they couldn't find anyone better. Like they couldn't pick. Like to this day, I don't know what WWE's issue is with Ken Shamrock. I really don't know why. I mean, I think Ken Shamrock said in an interview that him and Triple H have heat, or Triple H doesn't like him for some reason. He doesn't really know why, but it's just like, squash that shit and bring Ken Shamrock. Come on. So I think Ken Shamrock would have made a much better mediator, because you can believe Ken Shamrock as somebody that would like grab Riddle and be like, "Don't put your fucking hands on me." Whereas Cormier seemed more like a dad that was trying to be discipline his sons, but it just came off as like, "Hey, I'm disappointed in your grades at school. Now let's go get ice cream." Like that's what it came off to me as. And also, when I saw him come out to the ring in his referee outfit, it made me go, "Do I look like that? I mean, is my stomach that big? Like, I probably shouldn't eat anything after the show." Like, oh boy. And then I just thought to myself, is Brock Lesnar really going to come out and challenge him? Like, if Brock Lesnar was, scheduled to really fight Cormier, I can just imagine Brock being like, "Hey Cormier, we're gonna fight at Crown Jewel." I'm sorry, I can't contain my laughter. Like, I can just picture Brock just being a dick, like, "You want me to wrestle that guy? Really? Okay." Yeah, Cormier just wasn't a very good choice for this. He kind of messed up the feud in a way, because he had a promo on SmackDown from last week that really wasn't good. Like, really, really wasn't good. So, but just going back to the match, I thought the match was okay. I just wish there was more brutality. And I know they can't use blood. Like Triple H already said, we're not using blood. We're not going back to blood. But it's just like, can we at least get some scrapes? What about some bruises or welts? Like, come on. But, the match was okay. I mean, Riddle won, and he took that sick bump, that sick, senton off the top of the cage, which, again, like you just said, you knew he was hurting after that match. And, he got Seth in the submission, and he won the match. So there goes that. Then we get to after the match. Riddle was celebrating with Cormier, and you're already thinking, okay, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to come out. It's going to be Bray. It's going to be Brock. It was Bray. The lights go out, and you see different people sitting in the audience, or not sitting, but standing in the audience, that are wearing masks from Bray's past. You see a guy in a vulture mask wearing a Hawaiian shirt. You see a guy wearing a pig mask. You see a guy wearing a or not a guy, maybe it's a guy or a girl, I don't know. But like, you see somebody wearing a Sister Abigail mask. And then you see the Fiend mask, and then you see the Bunny mask. You see a giant door, and out comes Bray. Which, the crowd went fucking apeshit for that. It was only for like 5 seconds, and the crowd went apeshit, which, good. Bray's over. People like Bray, they like his shit. And it's not really... They're not really saying what his character is, because I had mentioned that I don't want to see him be the Fiend again. I'd rather see him be more of a mixture of his, like, old school, backwoods, Louisiana swamp guy gimmick from Cape Fear. mixed with a little bit of the Fiend, but not too much. So it looks like that's what they're doing. But that was great. That was a great way to close the show. You know, Bray's back, and he'll be showing up on SmackDown. What did you think about Bray coming back?
Thought it was one of the greatest returns in the history of WWE. That's how great it was. It was fantastic. The production was mesmerizing, awesome. You had all the characters from the Firefly Funhouse coming in human form. You have the crowd singing. You know, he has the whole rule in his hands. You have the them going into the decrepit old Firefly Funhouse. Then Bray makes with the light that white blue light tribute to Brody Lee and AEW, right? When he first made his debut. With that same line as well. Bray came out in this mask that you can barely see, but it looks like a mask that was like in the black phone. As soon as he took off that mask, the pop was tremendous, man, and it shows you that how over Bray Wyatt is. He is to me, with Triple H running this shit. Like Triple H is not gonna have Bray, do all this freaking weird fucking teleportation, all this weird shit, right? It's gonna be a more down to earth, realistic, type of character. There's still gonna be some mythical behind it, right? You know what I mean? It's still gonna be a little bit mythical, but it's not gonna be to the point of like what the Fiend was, a couple of years ago. But super excited for what's happening here. Apparently, he's gonna be on SmackDown, right? Some people were actually mad that the Fiend wasn't on Raw on Monday. WWE never promoted, say that he was going to be back on Monday, that he was going to be there live. There was no official promotion saying that he's going to be there. So a lot of people kind of worked themselves up to get upset for no reason. You should blame yourself if you expected the Fiend, or not the Fiend, but you expected Wyatt to be there. But he is going to be on SmackDown on Friday. We'll see if it's just a backstage segment. We'll see if he comes out to a ring color promo. We'll see if how that happens, right? But at the very end, now a lot of people are talking about this. The very end of the Extreme Rules, it shows the new Monarch, Moth, whatever you want to call it, upside down Silence of the Lambs logo, whatever you want to call it, and it had the old Wyatt family sound. Right, anytime when the Wyatt family comes out, plays that sound, right? So to me, just by hearing that right there, you didn't hear that when he was the Fiend. That sound was nowhere near to be heard when he was the Fiend. I never heard that. Now with this here, it kind of leads to me that he's gonna be going back towards, a happy ground. It may not be the original Wyatt family gimmick. It's gonna be the Wyatt Six, and I know we're about to talk about Raw in a little bit here, but I think it's appropriate since we're on the subject now to for me, who I'm predicting there's gonna be some people in the Wyatt Six that I'm predicting that that could be in this group. So you got Bray Wyatt. Mm-hmm. You got Bo Dallas. He's going to be coming back to WWE. It's already been out there, rumored. He's coming back. If he's coming back, he's going to be with his brother because he was supposed to be part of the Wyatt family originally before he got let go. He was supposed to join the Wyatt family, or they're going to do something with Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, and that never happened. Okay. Since he's on SmackDown now, I'm thinking that Baron Corbin is going to be part of this group. We assume JBL picked him up. We have not seen Baron Corbin since. So, prediction, I may think he may be in there. Now, they're also rumored, well, not rumored, but this was official, but backstage at last night on WWE, Vincent, Vinny Marseglia from Ring of Honor and Dutch from Ring of Honor were backstage. Could they be backstage for maybe Bray Wyatt, or could they be backstage because they may be bringing back Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, so they could form the Kingdom from Ring of Honor and Impact coming into WWE. But if they form the Kingdom, then Vincent may be a part of it, right? So Vincent and Dutch, who's his partner, in there as well. So that's 5 people, including Bray Wyatt, and the 6th person. Now I know this person is on Raw, but I think they could transition on over to SmackDown just because of the fact that Raw's loaded and they kind of like cross promote anyway already. Mm-hmm. But Nikki Cross, not Nikki Ash, Nikki Cross. I think we may be getting Nikki Cross back. Come back, same crazy Nikki Cross, but she'll be in the Wyatt 6. There's a couple honorable mentions that to name as well. Tommaso Ciampa, where the hell has he been? He's not been around for ages. Tommaso Ciampa could be a part of it. Dexter Lumis could be a part of it as well. Alexa Bliss could be a part of it. So there's still names out there that that could be a part of this, and maybe those names I just mentioned as well could be in combination with some of these other names as well. But my official Wyatt 6 is Bray Wyatt, Vincent, Dutch, Bo Dallas, Baron Corbin, and Nikki Cross. I think that'll be a formidable group, and we'll see what WWE does with them.
Definitely Bo, because it's Bo and that's his brother, so it would make all the sense in the world to put him with Bray. Another choice that it seems like this is kind of like a signed, sealed, delivered thing is Joe Gacy. Another rumored name that, this isn't my choice personally, but this is a rumored name, is Grayson Waller. Because he, on his social media, I don't know if this happened on NXT or if this is the thing he put on social media, but he posted a picture of himself with red eyes. And
this is just that has nothing to do with that. It's really because of what the storyline in NXT right now with him and Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews pretty much try to take his eyes out.
I was gonna say not for nothing, but the buzzard has red eyes, so whatever. But I'm not saying that's my choice. I'm saying that's a rumor choice.
Yeah, I hear you.
But my choices, I'm just gonna say my choices. Bo. I think Nikki would be a good choice because it seems like she wants to go back to that dark place that when she was crazy Nikki. So that would make sense. Baron Corbin would be interesting because it almost seems like it would fit with his storyline of he used to be happy, now he's unhappy, and then Bray can be like, I can make you happy. I can make you happier than you ever been. Which sounds kind of sexual, but whatever. But that would be an interesting choice. Another interesting choice would be Madcap Moss, because I'm mainly picking people that aren't really doing anything, and I like Moss, and Moss is really fucking good. He's actually gotten a lot better, and he's showing a lot of intensity. So I think he'd be a good choice for the Wyatt 6. Another choice is bring back Eric Rowan. I think Eric Rowan,
that was the and that's the only other one I forgot to say. So yeah, he could be definitely in there as well. I still think that Vincent and Dutch may have a great chance of being in that group. But if not Baron Corbin, then I think that 6th one will probably be Eric Rowan for sure.
So how many did I choose so far? So Gacy, Bo, Nikki, Rowan. So
Madcap Moss.
There you go. Those are my 6. Those are my 6 for Bray's new group. Which I can imagine when they sign back Bray, for one, I'm pretty sure he got a lot of money. And second, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a little bit of creative control. A little bit. Not a lot, not to the extent of like Hogan, but like more.
Well, he already has his so I don't know if you heard, like WWE hired
Yes, the what's his name? Fuck. Let me look him up. You keep talking.
Oh yeah, so they hired a writer for long-term storytelling. He's a head of long-term storytelling, and he's gonna be personally working with Bray Wyatt in reference to his stories. So basically, Bray Wyatt has his own writer. I don't know if any other wrestler on that roster has their own writer that they can just go to for their own storyline. So the fact that Bray has that tells me that he has a lot of influence. That he has creative control.
I have it right here. All right, Rob Fee, that's his name. He's now the director of long-term creative. He's already been working on the White Rabbit story. His background is he worked as a producer with stars like Will Smith, Ellen DeGeneres, and Ryan Reynolds. Written more than 100 episodes of Disney XD series Player Select, and is a horror writer for Marvel Comics. He's been a member of the Merry Marvel Marching Society since he was just a young smark. That's his quote. I'm not familiar with Fee's work, but Marvel.com does say he's got some Spider-Man and Avengers one-off books to his credit. So this seems like a good guy to be in charge of creative. And
exactly. So helping Bray write his story. So Bray on at least current day WWE. I mean, it has happened before with like Hogan and like Rock and Austin and guys like that. Shawn, obviously 96, 97 Shawn, who was a miserable piece of shit that I loved. But it looks like these guys. Looks like Bray has a lot of control over what is going to be presented on TV. Obviously, it has to be passed through Triple H. It's not like he's going to go out. He's going to tell his writer like, "Hey, I want to do like a poopy shit gimmick." You know what I mean? Like that's not going to get passed through Triple H. So, yeah. Well, can't wait to see how this is. I know a lot of people kind of want to like, I need Bray now. I need Bray now. Well, guys, calm down. Don't blow your load with this, man. He just came back on Saturday. Let's let have a slow burn on this, okay?
Follow the buzzards. Hey Rob, I had an idea about poopy shit gimmicks. That's a bad Bray Wyatt impression, by the way. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say about Bray. You brought up, Rob Fee. I was saying, I can imagine as far as like stuff for his gimmick and like who he's gonna pick in this group. I can imagine he has control over who he picks. That was kind of the point I was trying to make, but which is good. I like Bray. I think Bray creatively can make this work. If this were under the old regime, Vince would have stupid ass ideas and again, job him out. And that was always the thing about Bray, is like he was presented as the next Undertaker as far as like, the spooky, supernatural character. And then what happens? He loses to John Cena, and then he just loses all momentum. Even when they put the world title on him twice, it just felt like it didn't really matter. And when he was the Fiend, it looked like that was going to be like a career renaissance, but what happens? He loses to Goldberg. So it's just like, and apparently that was, a Saudi Arabia call and not a Vince call. So, so that was our Extreme Rules review. Let's talk a little bit about Raw, and then we'll call it a night, because I have to go do something in a little bit. So, Raw, I missed the first two segments. I missed the Roman Reigns segment. I went back and watched it, so I know what happened, but I missed it live. So I know Reigns came out, and this was a Brooklyn crowd, and of course they were over as shit. Riddle came out and talked a little bit of shit, and it ended up culminating in a match with Riddle and who was it? Sami Zayn in the main event of Raw. Riddle trying to stir the shit between Jey Uso, because it looks like it looks like they're going in a different direction than what what everyone originally thought, which was, Sammy was going to get booted out of the group after everything he did for the group. But it looks like maybe they're going in a different direction because
it's gonna get to that direction, just not right now.
Well, right, but also I just think it's too obvious. I think they're waiting for the crowd to get more comfortable with the group the way it is, and then that's when they're going to do the whole, they're going to fuck Sammy and throw him out of the group because he's still been teasing it. But
I really think the way that's going to go down is that it's going to be a position where Roman puts like sole responsibility on Sammy to get something done, like win a match, or it's going to be something to where that not necessarily Roman gets screwed out of the title. It won't go that far, but it'll probably go something as far as like, Sammy's the reason why they lost War Games, or where the I think it's gonna be something like that, and that's where Roman's gonna be I need you no more.
Well, I was gonna say about Jay, because like it looks like Sammy is being more useful, whereas Jay is being more the hothead because Jay doesn't want to accept Sammy into the group, and Jay's arguing with Roman, and now it's getting to the point where Roman is telling Jay, listen to Sammy. Whatever Sammy tells you to do, listen to him. Make sure Sammy wins his match. And I think that's interesting. But like you said, I think it will culminate eventually where it's going to be a thing of like, at the end of the day, Roman's going to choose family. Like Jay's his family, and Sammy, regardless of all the everything he's been praising Roman, he's been kissing his ass, doing everything for him. At the end of the day, Roman's going to be like, you're not family. You're an honorary Uce. You're not an actual Uce. And then, because Sammy's already over. Like, Sammy is doing the best work of his career as far as, like, his character. And, he's one of the best things about the company right now. He's one of the best things to watch because he can talk, he can emote, and he can work. So, this is going to lead to a way we already know it, but I think WWE is realizing it's too obvious. We can't just let it happen now. We gotta make everyone feel comfortable enough to where they forget about it. And once they forget about it, boom, that's when it's gonna happen. So, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving Sami Zayn. I'm loving the bloodline. Loving it. Another match I missed, but I had to go back and rewatch it. Johnny Gargano versus Austin Theory. Gargano winning, which, all right. I mean, before you go, let me just kind of get this out. Like, I get it with the whole thing about the Money in the Bank winner is always supposed to job out before eventually they cash it in, but to me, it's just like, I'm kind of tired of that notion. Because like Austin Theory, I like him. He's not I'm not gonna say he's my favorite. He's really not. But he looks like somebody they want to push because he looks and talks and acts like a wrestler. He looks like a mix of. I mean, he literally looks like John Cena as a young guy. He looks like a mix of John Cena and Buff Bagwell. Like, he has a great look. He's decent in the ring. He doesn't do anything stupid. He doesn't do any moves that he's not supposed to be doing. He actually wrestles. So he doesn't really do any spots either. So he's been losing a lot since he became Money in the Bank winner. And it's at the point where I'm just like, they're kind of burying this guy, are they? Like, I don't know what you think about it. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think he's being buried per se, but honestly, I don't give a fuck about Austin Theory right now.
Okay.
I was being honest. I really don't give. I like Austin Theory, but like just the position that he's in right now, because the Money in the Bank briefcase is like it can either cripple you or it can enhance you. And right now, it's crippling him. Right now, there are no, like, usually there's some long term plans with the Money in the Bank briefcase, but they're like, to me right now. Obviously, he's not going to cash in on Roman. Because if he cashes in on Roman, he's going to lose. He just is. He's not going to win. He's not going to be the one to win any title for Roman Reigns. So, once the title gets dropped for Roman Reigns, then that's where I think Theory will start to be a little bit more valuable in the world title picture. But as of right now, he has the briefcase, but he's not gonna cash in until after WrestleMania.
Right. I was gonna say
whenever that is. That could be May, June, whatever. But he's not gonna cash in until after WrestleMania.
I guess when I say buried, because the term buried gets thrown around too loosely, but like with him, it's just like you started to notice the pattern after Vince left. You know, because when Vince was there, he was getting heavily pushed. But as soon as Vince left, that's when you start to see, you know, him lose a lot. And it's just like, I don't know. But, like, Gargano beats him, which I kind of disagree with because I really think that Gargano should have done the honors and let Austin win because, you know, Gargano's already been pushed a lot. In Theory's, you know, the new guy, and, you know, Theory kind of deserved that. Theory kind of deserves that rub more than Gargano, in my opinion, but I don't know, I guess. Yeah, Gargano won the match. What do you think about the match?
Carl wasn't really behind Gargano on this one, unfortunately. But, you know, yeah, I thought this guys put on a serviceable match. I mean, like, to me, it wasn't like much of importance for me. I mean, like, Gary could have won, wouldn't have mattered. Gargano won, wouldn't have mattered. So that's the way I look at it.
All right. Next match. It was also a match in a segment, which we kind of alluded to earlier. You had Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable. The Judgment Day came out to watch and to, you know, get involved afterwards. Where Mysterio ended up winning the match. Dom came out, and Dom is, you know, shit talking Rey, and Rey the whole time is just, you know, saying, "I'm not going to hit you. You know, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to hit you." Dominic, you know, slaps him and, you know, starts, you know, kicking him down, starts beating him down, and, you know, Rey just is, you know, crying the whole time, and I know where they're going with this. But it's just like, okay, eventually Rey needs to smack the shit out of Dominic, because it's just like, Rey just looks like a pussy. This whole thing. And again, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm just like kind of voicing my opinion. Like with Rey, it's just like any father would have smacked the shit out of Dominic, regardless. Especially, you know, Rey's Mexican, and I'm not Mexican, but I have a Mexican fiance, and they will all tell me the same thing. If I even made a face at my mom would have thrown a chancla at me. Like the chancla would have came out. So for Rey to just be like, just like crying the whole fucking time, it's like, Rey, he's your son. Do something. Smack him. Get out the fucking belt. I don't know. Do something. Throw a chancla at him. It's just like, you know, it makes me feel no sympathy for Rey at this point. I know they want us to feel sympathy for Rey. I don't. I think he's a pussy. And it's just like, I get where they're going eventually, but it's like something should have happened already, to me, in my opinion. But what do you think about it?
I mean, I don't think anything should happen yet. I mean, we got a long ways away from Survivor Series with this, because, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's gonna be like Team Rey and Edge versus the Judgment Day. Maybe Judgment Day adds a couple more people to the team. But regardless of that, I mean, this is the most interesting Rey Mysterio has been in the last 5 years. I get your point. Yeah, he maybe should have slapped her or whatnot, but who's to say, like, in a real life family situation, like, you know, like, who's to say that Rey will act this way, right? To me, like, I mean, yeah, maybe I would hit my son, but at the same time, there's some other people out there that don't have that heart. It's like, you know, I can't hit my son like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's different. You know what I mean? But I get where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying. Like, I totally get it, 100%. To me, this is the most interesting Rey Mysterio has been in the last 5 years. Easy. Maybe even more. I mean, like, going from Seth Rollins taking his eye out, now he has 2 eyeballs again, all of a sudden, that was never explained on how he got his vision back. You know what I mean?
Wrestling.
To the Aaliyah storyline with Buddy Murphy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm much more better with story. And this is just Rey Mysterio. Like, this is just how Rey Mysterio has been treated in WWE ever since his tenure. Like, he's made to be look like the dumbass. Babyface. You know what I mean? Like, during his title reign, right? His very first title reign in 2006. God damn it. He lost to the Great Khali, lost to Finlay. Like, come on. Like, I mean, But yeah, I think it's gonna get to this point. You know what I mean? I'll say give it probably a few more weeks, and we're really start gonna see that the more layers to this onion.
I mean, it definitely gives more heel heat, to not just Judgment Day, but Dominic, because now it's just like you want to see Dominic get the shit kicked out of him.
And another thing too is that whenever Ray does lay his hands on Dominic, imagine that pop. That pop is gonna be like insane. So they're really building up for this pop. Whenever Ray either he drop kicks him or really the easiest thing to get a big pop is Dominic with a big right hand. Dominic goes down and just have the intensity on Ray's face. I think that'll probably be the best way to do it.
I just thought of something. You know what could get Ray, like, it would be a really fucked up thing for Ray to say to Dominic is, I regret the day that Eddie brought you home to us.
That'll be pretty funny, actually.
Like, that would be I'd be like, holy shit, Ray, you didn't have to say that. That'd be so fucking cool. Anyways, after the aftermath, the Judgment Day stays in the ring, talking a little bit of shit. Finn turns his attention to AJ and tells AJ, this is the last time I'm gonna let you off the hook because you're my friend, but I'm done asking questions. You either join us or you don't. So AJ comes out and, alludes to the fact that he might join Judgment Day, saying, we all need family, we all need friends, and, Finn is really selling it like, hey, he's joining me, and then AJ hugs Finn, but then AJ gets on the mic saying, I wasn't talking about you. And then you hear the music play, and it's the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. That day, there's already speculation that the Good Brothers were going to come back after their contracts expire with Impact Wrestling. They still, from what I heard, I don't think they have like legit deals with NJPW, but they're still working dates because I think Carl Anderson is like, was it the never open weight champion? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he's never open weight champion. Yeah.
Right, so they don't have legal contracts with NJPW, but they're still working dates. So they're back with WWE. They form with AJ, which, I'm not crazy about it. I mean, because personally, I don't like Carl Anderson. I think he's a fucking dickhead, especially after what happened, when the day that, Daphne passed away and he decided to make it all about him and talk about, oh, WWE sucks. They're not really, doing this out of the kindness of their heart. Fuck them, blah, blah, blah. It's like, really, dude? You couldn't have picked any other time. So it's like, fuck you. And Gallows, I don't really have anything against. From what I heard, he's a good dude. But I just think Anderson's a fucking cock, in my opinion. But, that's neither here nor there. But they're back. They're with AJ. They got a nice pop. So now AJ has muscle to go against the Judgment Day. Which, good, because a lot of Judgment Day feuds have been kind of one-sided, because it's just like, it just feels like it's Judgment Day versus, Edge, Judgment Day versus Ray. So they never really have any backup, and now AJ's like, fuck it, I need backup. So he got his backup, so that makes for an interesting feud, which, are they going to have that at Crown Jewel? Are they going to have that at Survivor Series? I mean, it makes sense to have it at Survivor Series, but it wouldn't surprise me if they had it at Crown Jewel, so...
yeah, that was the other. It was right there in front of me the entire time, Alan. been up since 7 a.m. today, but near here or there. But yes, that is going to be your Survivor Series match of Edge, Rey Mysterio, and the Club, those 5, against the Judgment Day with those 3 plus 2 more. So I don't know if Finn's going to recruit 2 more people to come to the Judgment Day or just 2 randoms come in. But I think that may be the Survivor Series match that we can see.
Yeah, there we go. All right, let's get to the next part of the
before we get into the next thing, the thing I wanted to bring up earlier is that the Good Brothers are back. Mm-hmm. Now, there were some very interesting things that happened on Twitter. Very interesting things that happened on Twitter. New Japan, and maybe this is nothing. New Japan was retweeting WWE's tweets of Paul Anderson and Doc Gallows coming back to WWE. Now, New Japan is more friendly than other companies, right? You know what I mean? You don't really see AEW retweeting WWE stuff and vice versa, or Impact, retweeting WWE stuff. But it's interesting that New Japan's doing that. It may be because that Anderson is the number openweight champion, right? And, he's going to be defending his title against Hikuleo soon. But I don't know. And I know Triple H, he is all about, mingling with the other companies. If you remember, he has a relationship with New Japan in some aspect. Don't forget that at the original NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, Jushin Thunder Liger wrestled his only match in WWE ever against Tyler Breeze in the opening match of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Do you think that Triple H may have a starting working relationship with New Japan? Not saying that, it's like the forbidden door or anything, but just little things like this, right, where we can start seeing a foundational, maybe talent exchange, or maybe a WWE versus a New Japan pay-per-view, just like how New Japan and the AEW has done, right? But I just found that kind of strange. And New Japan was, retweeting WWE's tweets, and not really just that. You had some of the talent talking about their return as well. So you had Jay White doing hashtag WWE Raw, right? And you have Bad Luck Fale, tweeting WWE as well. So I don't really find that coincidence. So again, like, it's not forbidden door tomorrow or anything like that, but who knows? 2022 has been the craziest year we have. I want somebody to name me a crazy year in 2022 in wrestling. You can't find it. And if you say it, I will tell you that you're wrong. But to me, 2022 has been the craziest year ever in wrestling. I will not put it past in 2023 that Triple H in New Japan, Gato, could have either a talent exchange or a joint show together. I will not be surprised by that. At this point, nothing's off the table. 2022 has shown me that nothing's ever off the table when it comes to professional wrestling. So, what are your thoughts about that? I mean,
I didn't even know about that until you brought that up. But it's it could be something or it could be nothing. But if it's something, it could be really interesting because, with the new regime, Triple H, when in NXT seemed like he wanted a lot of things to happen that probably got kiboshed by Vince. And you brought up, Jushin Thunder Liger, coming to NXT to work his only WWE match with Tyler Breeze. Triple H at the end of the day is a wrestling guy, and he's a fan of wrestling. And, he maybe, to be fair, maybe he has, guys saying, do this, do this, this, and that. So Triple H seems like a much better wrestling businessman than Vince, whereas Vince was a good businessman as far as like building a business, a company. Triple H is very much about, everybody eats at the table. Let's make something happen. So I'd be all for it. To do a talent exchange. You can see Jay White showing up on NXT or SmackDown, or maybe they'll have a Worlds Collide pay-per-view with NJPW. Who knows? Maybe Okada. Like, to me, WWE, I think they've been trying to get Okada for the longest time. Like, Triple H is someone who sees Okada, and he's just like, oh god, like his mouth waters. He's like, I want that guy. I need him in our company. So it'd be interesting. Another thing, if that were to happen, what do you think that does for the relationship with NJPW and AEW?
Dead.
Right.
Dead. I think it'll be dead. Not, I won't say not fully dead, but I'm really thinking about this here. Like, at the end of the day, Tony Khan himself, he said this himself. He wants the Forbidden Door to open. He started this. If this is to get WWE, if New Japan is like, that callus that's trying to get WWE and AEW to work together, then I'm all for it, right? I don't see WWE and AEW work together anytime soon, but I definitely I still see AEW and New Japan working together. I don't think that Tony Khan is nearly as paid what Vince McMahon is. If Vince McMahon saw, let's say, like WCW was working with let's say that WCW was working with New Japan, then WWF at the time started working with New Japan. Then let's say New Japan goes back to WCW. I don't see, like, I would see Vince McMahon like, no, I'm not working with you ever again because you went back to the enemy. I don't see Tony Khan being like that. I see, like, Tony Khan, like, he is a wrestling fan, right? He understands, right? And I think that he'll, like, even, like, enjoy some of the stuff that WWE would do with New Japan, because it'll be, we haven't seen talent exchange from WWE, WWF since probably NWA in like 1998, and that's like not even saying much. It was like Jarrett and Barry Windham in the Rock and Roll Express. It wasn't even really like, but I haven't really seen much talent exchange in WWE or WWF since then. Yeah, you have the whole thing with Ric Flair in the Hall of Fame under the Four Horsemen. Then they sent Christian over. I don't really count that. That doesn't really count for me, but that was like really last time that was really any exchange. But anyway, that's my thoughts about that.
All right. Next is Bayley versus Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae got the win, and it was an okay match. It wasn't like anything to like write home about, but she got the match. Damage Control came out and ganged up on her, and then Bianca came out to make the save, and then they ganged up on Bianca, and that again looks like it's continuing the feud between Bianca and Bayley. Looks like Candice might be involved somehow. Who knows? Next was a segment from Miz's birthday. By the way, what'd you think about the match?
Match is fine. Candice winning was a little shocking, but at the end of the day, Bayley ended up getting the heat back, and it looks like she's going to be challenging Bianca again, possibly at Crown Jewel. And Candice getting the win, it helps her. It helps her. It doesn't hurt her, because if she would have lost, it would have hurt her, right? With the win, it helps her. So, and really to me, it didn't really hurt Bayley either, because Bayley's already established. So,
all right, fair enough. Next is the Miz's birthday celebration. He comes out. Maurice just looking hot as fuck as usual.
The milk was fresh on her.
Those big mommy milkers. And
God, man.
And then he has a bunch of presents out. He has an ice sculpture. She bought him a baseball bat signed by a player on the Cleveland Indians. I don't follow baseball, so I don't know who that is. So, and they're in Brooklyn, so he's making comments about the Yankees. So this leads to Dexter coming out and crashing the party, eating the cake, and what do you make of this whole Dexter Loomis Miz thing? Because it's weird because I want to say in my head Dexter hasn't really explained what his actions were, but Dexter doesn't talk, so how can he explain? But it's one of those things of just like, why does Dexter have such an infatuation with the Miz? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, because Miz is a piece of shit, and he wanted to shut up a piece of shit. I guess, I don't know. Yeah, you know, this segment was bollocks. It was terrible.
Crowd didn't
awful,
care.
bad. Yeah, it was really bad. But I will say this, you know, we're finally starting to get some resemblance of progression with this story, because next week is going to be Miz versus Dexter Loomis. If Loomis wins, he will be officially a contract to Raw. And if Miz wins, then Dexter Loomis, he still won't have a job. So, but, yeah, we'll see. I mean, and again, maybe Loomis is part of the Wyatt Six. I don't know. I don't think so at this point. I think he's probably a long shot for the group. He'll be great for the group, I think. But at this point, I think he's a long shot for the group. But, yeah, I mean, I could have done without it, but, you know, it is what it is. I mean,
So
WWE, I mean, at the end of the day, we're still going to get... It's still, at the end of the day, people forget, WWE is still sports and entertainment. Even though Triple H is more focused on the wrestling and the realism, we're still going to get our little, you know, corny segments every now and then. And at least it's only once per show and not, you know, 10 times per show with Vince McMahon.
And Goof, I know they're called the Guardians. I was just calling them the Indians because fuck it. Next, Omos squashes two jobbers, so they're trying to make Omos a thing again, which, you know, good. They still need their giants. I mean, because they have Braun back, and they have Braun on one show, so you need your giant on the other show. So good. Next, we get to Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins for the United States Championship. So Bobby Lashley comes out. Goof, I'm not going to get in trouble. Like, I don't give a fuck about trouble. Bobby Lashley comes out, gets on the mic, you know, wants Seth. Seth's still selling, you know, quote unquote rib injuries from last night, which, to be honest, they might be legit, you know, because that fall from Riddle looked pretty bad. So Brock Lesnar comes out, which it's weird because the beginning of his music has that riff, and you can hear it, but for some reason it was really low. I don't know if it was just me, but like the riff in the beginning of his music sounded really low. So as soon as I heard it, I'm like, wait, is that Brock? And then Brock comes out. Brock's still looking like, you know, Cowboy Brock. Approaches Bobby and just, you know, says, Bobby Lashley. And then just, you know, F5s him, beats the shit out of him, which... on one hand, it's like, okay, we're getting Brock and, you know, Lashley again. We're obviously going to get it at Crown Jewel. So good. We're going to get a proper, you know, Lashley and Lesnar feud. On the other hand, it's like, why did Brock purposely cost Lashley the title? Like, I don't get it. Like, what did you make of the whole segment?
That was great. It was great. You know, Lashley, you know, at this point in time, like, we know he's a badass. We know he's legit. We know that he is somebody that, you know, one of the better wrestlers on Raw, but he didn't need to keep the United States title. I think Seth Rollins winning the title is better for him and gives Seth a little bit more direction. And at the end of the day, you know, we get the rematch between Brock and Lashley, and maybe, who knows, maybe Lashley will get his win back in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? So, you know, so to me, at the end of the day, I thought this segment, I don't want to say it was like a segment of the year or anything like that, but I enjoyed it. You know, it got a point. It got the point across on what they were trying to do, and that is to give you sympathy on Bobby Lashley, right? It also turned Brock Lesnar back into a heel, right? Because right now he's babyface, and what a way to turn him heel than to screw out one of the newer fan favorites, Lashley, and escorting him out of the United States title. Like Lashley's over right now. Like he's definitely over right now, as a babyface. Like between his his current babyface role and his last babyface role, he's super over right now. Like there's like one of his last babyface roles was like when him and Sami Zayn was talking about his sisters, and the sisters came out on Raw with one of the worst Raw segments of all time. Like Lashley's doing pretty good for himself right now.
I mean, I agree with because I've always said why is Lashley the U.S. champion? He should be in the main event picture with Roman, with Drew, maybe eventually with Cross, Gunther, and Brock. He shouldn't be the U.S. championship. That's kind of beneath him at this point. And again, on one hand, I'm glad he's not the U.S. champion anymore. Seth, it almost seemed like they were going to give it to Seth because that's kind of usually how they do it, because he did the honors for Riddle last night. And Seth's been losing a lot. There was a stat that came out that said that he's had the most main event, matches in WWE. He's had 5. Out of any superstar this year, he's had 5. And he's lost all of them. So he finally he lost the night prior, or Saturday, I mean. And, they gave him a consolation prize, because to me, Seth, in my opinion, is the superstar of the year, is the male superstar of the year. But that's another conversation for a later date. But he's the U.S. champion, and I guess it made sense because it's just like, how is Seth going to beat, Bobby in a way that doesn't make Bobby look weak and doesn't make him look stupid? So I guess, they're going to have, Brock come out and, fuck with Bobby. So I don't know. To me, I would have won a different way, but again, I'm not a booker, so. But we're getting Bobby and Brock at Crown Jewel, so good. We're gonna get a proper feud. Now Seth is the United States champion, so good. Now we have the main event, which is Matt Riddle versus Sami Zayn. The story behind this: Roman and Solo and Paul were leaving to their their penthouse suite. And, Roman tells Jay, stay here. Wherever Sammy goes, you go. Make sure he wins that match against Riddle tonight. So, during the match, the story was that Seth was trying to make sure Sammy won so he can please Roman. But Sammy is telling Jay... did I say Seth or Jay? Feels like
you said Jay, I believe.
Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, Jay is trying to help Sammy, but Sammy tells Jay, no, I got this. So it's one of those conflicting things of Sammy doesn't need Jay's help, but at the same token, he kind of still needs his help because he knows Roman is going to get pissed. So, Riddle wins the match, like he should, because, he just had a big victory in the main event of a pay-per-view, so he's going to beat Sammy in the main event. And after which DX comes out to just kind of send the crowd home happy. And I kind of figured that, because I thought someone's going to come out and beat up DX, but then I realized, okay, Triple H can't take any bumps because he has what's that thing called that he has?
Yeah, well, I mean, his heart, yeah, like a pacemaker.
Pacemaker, there you go. So when he was talking to Stephen A. Smith, he said, I can't take bumps. So that's out of the question. Shawn Michaels can probably take bumps. Waltman can probably take bumps. Road Dogg
every now and then. So
Road Dogg just looks. Road Dogg looks like a science teacher. He looks like a PE teacher. It looks bad. And then Corey Drays made the comment about Billy Gunn, where he's like, the other guy is doing something with office supplies. So I thought that was kind of funny. And so
were you expecting Billy Gunn to come out?
I mean,
some people were expecting Billy Gunn, but
I think Bill. I don't know if Billy Gunn said this, but I think someone alluded to that WWE was trying to get him out for just that reunion, but Tony Khan said no. So I don't know. I think Tony Khan should just let him come out. That's just me. But
I mean, yeah. I mean that would have helped him actually if Billy Gunn, because the crowd is gonna be like, scissor me, dead ass. You know what I mean?
Right. So, yeah, that segment was just to send the crowd home happy because it's like, hey, remember DX?
Yeah, it was fine.
But Raw for the most part was fine. It was fun. It was a fun show. It was a good show. Right off of Extreme Rules, and drew a 1.8. NXT from last night drew a 733,000, or I think it was more than that. But
it was. Hold on, I can get it here really quick. To my trusted source for rating. Yeah, 737,000 and a 0.15 rating.
Right. So NXT, that's apparently their highest rated show. So good for NXT. And that's really everything we have to review. SmackDown is this Friday. I guess before we do our plugs and send the people home happy, what's going on in AEW land? Since I know you're watching it, so what's going on in AEW?
Oh, you didn't watch tonight? Or I mean, obviously we were here, but like you didn't see anything tonight?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, yeah, no. I was here for half of it, but it was a really fun show today, I thought. There were some things I'm like, obviously questionable on AEW's end, but I thought it was a really fun show tonight. Renee came out with a great welcome. She's obviously from Canada because AEW was in Canada for the first time. Crowd was hot all night, so good to see Renee there. You had Wardlow win. I forgot who he even went up against. Who the hell did? Oh, was it QT? I think it was QT Marshall. Well, anyway, it was a tag team match with QT Marshall and I guess someone from the Nightmare Family. I don't know if it was Nick Camarado or whoever the fuck it was, but it was Wardlow and Samoa Joe, so they win. You had also as well. You had Billy Gunn versus Swerve. Swerve wins in cheap fashion. Billy Gunn's knee was being worked over in the match. Billy Gunn looked great. Like guys like 60 years old and like fucking wrestling like a boss. So he's great. Mark Sterling came out at the end of this match here and says he now owns the right for the word like scissor me or something like that. I guess he filed some type of legal documentation with that. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be a storyline with Tony Nese and Mark Sterling and versus the Acclaim. So I don't know if I like that, but whatever. Then you have MJF dissension with Stokely Hathaway. So I don't know where it's leading down. MJF is kind of acting babyface-ish in certain aspects, but still dick. So interesting layer to the story with MJF and Stokely. So we'll see where that goes. Mox came out. As soon as we're on air here, so this is where I kind of got muddy. I gotta go back and listen to this promo with him and Hangman. From what I'm gathering on Twitter, Hangman cut a damn great promo tonight against Moxley, so that's something I gotta go back and look at for sure. As soon as we get off the air, I'm gonna look that up. Jericho versus Danielson for the Ring of Honor Championship. This, when I was watching it here as we were recording the show, looks like a pretty damn good match, but the ending was questionable because the storyline with Daniel Garcia, hey, you're a wrestler, and him eventually turning on the Jericho Appreciation Society was, was there, right? But he just turned back heel. He just turned back heel and attacked, Bryan Danielson with the belt. And like to me that was stupid. It was a pointless storyline at the end of it all, because like he did the story with Daniel Garcia for weeks, only for him to to seem like he turned babyface, seem like he's somewhat joining the Blackpool Combat Club, to only turn on Bryan Danielson again. So I don't know where the hell that was going. That's stupid. Then you had a tag team match with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. The heels win that match. And your main event, Orange Cassidy versus Pac. Orange Cassidy actually wins against Pac, and he's your new All-Atlantic champion. So good for Orange Cassidy, man. That guy works hard. I know a lot of people don't like him, like the gimmick or whatnot, but like he's over. He's over. I mean, I like Orange Cassidy, but but the fact that he finally wins something here for once, like good for him. Good for him, because the guy can wrestle. You can say what you want about the gimmick, but I think if he would have lost here, I would have, if I was Orange, I'd be like, hey, I want to get the hell out of here. And, I want to go to WWE, or I want to go to Impact or something like that. But from what I was seeing for the main event, though, as we were recording here, it looked like a pretty damn good main event. Some pretty damn good spots in the match. And Orange Cassidy is your new All-Atlantic champion. So we got Rampage this Friday. It looks like I believe Mox is wrestling on Rampage this Friday. I don't know if it's in a tag match or a one-on-one match. I'm not sure, but yeah, it seems to be pretty well efficient night for AEW. So that was Dynamite in a nutshell tonight.
That's my thoughts. All right, good. So there's AEW, guys. So we are done with the show. That's all the show. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to finish the list. We will finish this list, people. I mean, technically we already did, but we will get through the rest of the 200s. Maybe if there's enough time for this Saturday, which we should definitely cover that. This Saturday is the first Q&A show of the month of October. And just as usual, please send in your questions through the Wrestling Soup channel. If any, you can maybe even DM me on Twitter. I know a few of you follow me on Twitter, so you can DM me on Twitter and send me questions. Any and all questions, especially for the month of October, since it's getting closer to Halloween. Make it interesting. Make it horror related. Make it Halloween related. So we can do that. So the first show of the month is this Saturday, same time, same channel, and the second Q&A show will be on the 29th of October. So that's closer to Halloween. And for that one, guys, please make it horror, spooky, Halloween oriented. Make it interesting. So, and you can send in your questions as early as right after Saturday. So that's usually how it works. After Saturday, you can send in your questions for the next Q&A show. So, and if you want to send in more, you can. So, anyways, Justin, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, of course. You guys know where to find me on Must Buy Buster Tees on Instagram. Follow me there. Follow my journey, right? You guys can follow my journey on, on some of the merchandise that I'm picking up for my eventual store location here in San Antonio, Texas. SpineBusterTees.com. Check it out. Got a lot of designs on SpineBusterTees.com that you guys will definitely enjoy. By the end of this month, a new design will be up on Spinebuster Tees, so I'll let you guys know when that is. Just a little bit. Hey, if you guys like hardcore wrestling, this will be the shirt for you. So I'll probably say more times at the end of the month, you guys will be able to purchase the brand new shirt on Spinebuster Tees. But I do have over 10 designs on the website right now, from different colors that you guys could pick from, all that. So, hit me up if you have any questions. I'll be more happy to help you guys. All of my t-shirts are at $19.98. Every single t-shirt on the website, starting off at $19.98. SpineBusterTees.com.
And as for me, you know where to find me, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. As far as the show goes, I'm everywhere. I'm on Google Play. Not Google Play, Google Podcasts, iTunes, anywhere that podcasts are put out, Spreaker. I'm also on YouTube. So if you would be so kind enough to head over to the YouTube and subscribe and hit a like, do whatever you want. And also iTunes, if you have time, it'd be much appreciated to head over to iTunes and leave a review or a rating, or both. Do whatever you want. And just tell us what you think about the show. And Patreon. Head over to the Patreon. It's only $5 a month. It's a pretty goddamn good deal. And you get everything. You get new content that I put out. I do shows with RJ and Jeff Lippman and Ruben. I have more content coming up. This Saturday, I'll be doing a show with Jeff from Our Lips to Your Ears. So we'll be doing a show Saturday. Ruben, we got something planned for next week. RJ, we're trying to get something up for that. And then you also get the ad-free version of the show, uncut, unedited. So you get the day before the actual show comes out on Friday. So head over to the Patreon and drop $5 a month. It's a pretty goddamn good deal. And forgot there's something else I was gonna say. Patreon, YouTube. Yeah, I think that's about. Oh yeah, Saturday Q&A show. Yeah, Q&A show, same time, same channel, and I'll make sure to make the event, unlike today. So, anyways, guys, thank you to everyone who joined to listen and downloads and subscribes and shows their love for the show. Thank you to Justin for being on tonight's show. Thank you, Justin.
Absolutely.
And thank you to everybody else. So, with that being said, we will see you this Saturday. And just have a great night, guys. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And what else can I say but peace?
Peace out.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.